Introducing the new low-fat Subway Buffalo Chicken. Spicy chicken, cool light ranch, one hot sandwich. All the flavor you love with 7 grams of fat. For a limited time, hurry to Subway and enjoy the newest part of a Subway Fresh Fit meal. The B.S. Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
This is the B.S. Report with Bill Simmons.
it might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't care.
The B.S. Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the sports guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The B.S. Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
All right, Tuesday heading into week 10 of the NFL season. This is the week when we start figuring out what we have and what we don't have. And as always, our buddy Cousin Sal is here on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline. We're going to guess the lines, and you're going to beat me again because I never looked at the matchups again this week. That's always when I lose. What's happening?
What is already the built-in excuse? I can't believe it.
Just telling you I'm going to lose.
Book tour, you were sick. This week you forgot to check that there was games on the slate. What are we doing here?
The only thing I know is that the Pats are playing the Colts, the Steelers are playing the Bengals, and Andy Reid is going head-to-head with Norv Turner to see who can win the battle for worst clock manager of the 2009 season. I'm very excited about that one. That's going to be great.
I love that Wade Phillips isn't the dumbest coach in the NFC East all of a sudden.
Yeah, when Wade Phillips comes out as the Mensa scholar, or the Mensa student, what is the Mensa? What's Mensa? My brain's not working.
Yeah, that's right.
The Rhodes Scholar? Or the Mensa?
It's challenging the prestigious Mensa award right now.
Yeah. It's funny that I'm making fun of other people for not being smart and yet can't remember what Mensa is. But when Wade Phillips comes out of a game like that, smelling like roses, you know the other coach has done a bad job.
Well, it's dumb on two counts. We're talking about the Eagles. They're down 20-13, and they decide to kick a field goal with 4 minutes and change.
With no timeouts.
Sense, right?
Yeah, that was great.
Because he challenged a spot, which I think challenging a spot almost 90% of the time is a dumb move. You know, it's just how are you going to do it? How do you know when the whistle blew? How are the refs going to decide when the whistle blew? It's a crappy thing if they overturn it. You know,
I could safely say that I've never seen it successfully pulled off. If it's a big pile and there's no way to know and there's no angle and you know it's a big pile when you're throwing the challenge flag, you're not going to get it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it completely depends on when the whistle blew. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think there's audio capabilities on when they're looking at that right there. So
what the coaches don't seem to understand with instant replay is that the rule says inherently that unless the evidence is overwhelming, they're not going to overturn it. Yeah. So really the only way you're going to win is if somebody stepped on the sideline when the ref said he didn't, or if somebody was juggling. Like it's those kind of plays that get overturned.
Yeah, you know, and I know you have that theory that like you should get, as far as clock management goes, you should get a what'd you say, like a kid that played Sega who's locked.
Yeah, 16-year-old. So somewhere between 15 and 18.
Right, who knows when to call timeouts, who's played, you know, the 2-minute drill a million times. That guy should be paid to help out. I'll do you one better. I think there should be a guy whose job it is to just run out and fly and catch that red flag from hitting the ground before the coach stupidly throws it out there. And then even that could be challenged, well, whether he got it before it hit the ground. I guess it becomes a mess. But
do you think there's a correlation between how uncomfortable the coach looks holding the red flag versus how badly it's going to turn out? Because when Wade Phillips holds it, it looks like he's holding plutonium.
He does.
It looks, or he's holding like he just took his dog for a walk, and the dog took a disgusting poop, and he's holding the bag, but he's not back at his house yet, and he can't find a garbage can. That's how he holds the red flag. It's always going to turn out badly. Yeah,
and Andy Reid, I don't know if you saw, they zoomed in on, he like took a bite out of he thought it was like a red velvet cake. It's just a mess with it. They should have someone else take it. Not that.
Yeah, I'm going to double dip on this because I think I'm also going to mention my column, but I got a great email from somebody who was saying that the problem with Andy Reid is that he's a 7-inning pitcher. What they should do is they should have him coach the team for the first 3.5 quarters and then bring in a closer.
Oh, that's
bring in
good.
Another coach to coach the last 8 minutes. I thought that was brilliant. I mean, it's really one of those ideas I can't come up with a con. He just goes. He walks off. The crowd applauds him. Great job, Andy. Good 7 innings. And then whoever the other coach and that guy takes over for the last 8. I think that could work.
hit the showers. Bring in Cowler for the last 6 minutes of the game.
Because we've now watched this guy coach for, I don't know, 13, 14 years, and he just doesn't know how to manage the end of a game. Like, it's
Right.
established. It's not going to get better. He is who he is.
Yeah, it's not your job. It's not no hard feelings. It's just our policy. We don't let the starter go that long.
You could keep your job, but here's what's going to happen in the last 8. I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to the Week 10 lines. And
all right, so
wait, hold on. I got to ask you one question though,
Go ahead.
because I asked this to Lombardi and Shots yesterday. If at gunpoint, if you had to bet your life on one team to win the Super Bowl, who would that team be? And don't say the Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
No, don't say the Cowboys. So, serious, your life depends on it.
Right now, I would say, oh man, this is tough. Right now, I'd say the Indianapolis Colts.
Wow,
They haven't looked good.
That's what the other two said.
Who said that?
The other two, Shots and Lombardi, they both said the Colts. I really would say the Saints, because the way it's lined up for them, they're really never going to have to play out of their comfort zone. It's going to be domes and warm weather, and that goes all the way through the Super Bowl. And then they're in the Super Bowl's in Miami, which, you might get a little frisky in Miami. It might be dipped down into like the high 50s or something, but I doubt it. So it's just the whole season's designed for them to win, it seems like.
What's the line if the Colts play the Saints in Miami? I guess we could start with that line.
I would say that would be Colts by 3.5 with a high over.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I think I like Manning. I like Manning to adjust to any surroundings. It's a good game. I think this is shaping up. It's really exciting. Like you have the Saints, the Vikings, and I'm gonna throw my Cowboys in there as the 3 teams in the NFC.
Fair enough. No, there's 4, isn't there?
Well, who are you gonna? Another NFC East team? Or what
Saints, Cowboys, Vikings, and
the Cards. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're right. I guess the Cards don't.
But anyway, if you have those 3, and then the Pats, Colts, and Steelers, I mean, even if you're an NFC guy, Pats, Colts, and Steelers, it's really shaping up like those teams are going to be there second, third week in January. So
I would have to also throw in the Bengals, because they're taking care of business. I mean, we have to include them if we include the Cowboys.
I can't jump on that bandwagon. I give one more week before I jump on it. If they play well at Pittsburgh this week, I'm all for them.
Well, this is the great thing about Week 10 is we're going to learn some stuff this week. We're going to learn.
And you've won 5 out of the 9 weeks. You're up 5-4. The winner at the end of 21 weeks, I guess, gets to slap the loser around with the Subway sandwich.
Oh, that's going to be great. Well, I think the team with the most to gain, 2 teams with the most to gain this week are the Pats and the Bengals. If the Pats just take care of business against Indy, I think the momentum will swing behind them as the team to beat. And I think if the Bengals can win somehow this weekend, then they will now be taken seriously as a team that is a true contender and in the mix in any discussion.
Yeah, that's fair. Those are the 2.
Who does your team play?
We are at Green Bay. It's a gravy game, I think, right now. I actually thought the Philly game was gravy if we won that. But right now, 6-2 at Green Bay. I don't know what to make of Green Bay, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's start with the Thursday night, Chicago at San Fran. They're starting the Thursday night games.
Yeah, how do we feel about that?
Seems a little early, huh?
Feels early to me. Yeah, I'm not nearly as excited enough as I thought I'd be for Thursday night football.
Here's the problem. The wife's going to get angry. Chicago at San Francisco. I don't want to have to watch it, but I'm going to watch every play because that's just how I am. And it's really worth it to get the wife PO'd at you this close to Christmas.
It feels early. And I know it was this early last year, but the other thing is the games are – I think I'm down on it more because the games have been so bad on the Thursdays. The teams are just sloppy and they look tired and guys get hurt. And it just never feels like a fun viewing experience. Well, I can't remember a single fun Thursday game last year.
I think because both of these teams – I think the loser's pretty much out of the playoff race. It might be too early to say that, but Chicago's 4-4, San Fran's 3-5. Make it a loser leaves town match. Remember the wrestling loser leaves town match? The loser forfeits the rest of their games. Look, the cutaways to Lovie Smith and Singletary would make it worth watching at least.
I'd like to write off Chicago. I think they're already done. They just stink. They're not a good team. Yeah. They might have the worst defense in the league. I think San Fran, on the other hand, still could sneak out 9-7 and win that division. So probably a bigger game.
I picked this one exactly. So what do you think?
So it's Chicago at San Fran?
At San Fran.
San Fran by 3.5.
All right, I nipped you by a half point. It's San Fran by 3.
I don't agree with that line. Chicago's not good.
Yeah, it seems like both these teams are better on the road. Like you take them at home, you're screwed. But
yeah, I forgot my whole home field advantage lack of rule. The Pittsburgh pick, like right away, I knew it was a bad pick. I picked Denver last night. Team like Pittsburgh on the road, it's almost like an advantage for them. It seems like they play better when they have fans in the opposing stadium, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, and half the team was on the sideline sucking oxygen, and they still got it done.
I know. All right, keep going.
Atlanta, Carolina. Now we're on to Sunday.
Carolina really let that one go last Sunday. I mean, that was a win. I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah,
I'm going to say Carolina by 2.5.
Oh, see, I went the other way. Atlanta by 3, and it's Atlanta by 2. So I get that one.
I don't agree with that either.
Well, Carolina, they're 3-5. I mean, I thought Carolina, Tennessee, Seattle, they all have disgusting records, but I thought Vegas would treat them like average teams, but they're still...
Well, why is Atlanta getting respect? What have they done?
5-3.
They beat...
5-3.
They lost to the 3 good teams.
I think there's a last chance for them to, to make a move, and otherwise there's going to be 3 NFC East teams in the playoffs if Atlanta doesn't grab that spot.
Yeah. It does seem like a good matchup for them because you beat Atlanta by throwing in them. And we've seen Carolina in that department.
Tampa Bay at Miami. Another Josh in the mix. Josh Johnson. We got killed by Tampa last week on a 3.
Well, everybody did.
3-team teasers. You convinced me again.
I convinced you. You already had it in.
I love the 3-team teasers. But the Packers just to beat Tampa was my favorite bet. Anyway, I don't care.
Yeah.
It was.
Tampa's
all
horrible.
You read about is how Tampa never sacks anyone. Rodgers can throw all over them.
Texas had the fearsome foursome pass rush last week. I don't know where that came from. Maybe the Packers' defensive line is that terrible. But I texted you during that game. If you have the favorite, the heavy favorite, and the other team is home, and they get the punt block TD, it's over. You write off the tees right there. It's like you just know. It's the worst omen that you could possibly have.
Yeah, it inspires the rest of the crappy team. All of a sudden, they're screen passes and not fumbling every drive. Like it doesn't make any sense.
The punt block TD, I'd love to see the correlation between punt block TDs and then victories for whatever team gets it. It just seems like it swings the game every time. So what's this game?
Josh Freeman's in there.
I thought he was pretty competent, I got to say.
I guess so.
He was like moving around. Did you watch it? He was moving around and making plays, it seemed like.
I did. I looked at his stats. They were lousy, but it's funny. Like it's funny if Raheem Morris just said, "I'm just going to throw every Josh in there I could try." Josh Johnson, Josh Freeman, Josh Duhamel, Fergie's husband. That's his.
Josh Gardner.
For cheating, our friend Josh Gardner. Yeah. Anyway, all right. What do you think this is? I hit this back. So
tell me it again.
Tampa at Miami.
Oh, okay. Miami by 13.
Ooh, that's a little high. I said 10, and it's 10.
I'm way off.
I like that, too. They're making us take them on a 3-team teaser, but we'll stay away.
I think Miami is the best 3-5 team in the history of football.
They might be.
They're really good.
Them as my suicide pick, and I don't mind it at all.
They're like I don't know. They played a really good game against the Pats, and the Pats just have a better team and played better, but Miami could not have played better in that game.
Colts, too, right? They came down to the wire. They lost some tough ones.
Yeah.
New Orleans at St. Louis.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
New Orleans by 16.
You get that one. I said 16.5. It's 14. It should be higher.
So we're learning something here. Vegas has now dropped the high lines a little bit because all the underdogs covered last week.
Well,
the high lines for the most parts, right?
Seattle had a cheap cover, but
yeah.
But the way I look at it, New Orleans won by double digits by accident last week, right? We were watching that game, and they ended up beating Carolina, who outplayed them by 10 points. The Rams, you got to make it 20.
Well, I'm probably going to take St. Louis in that game.
Are you?
Yeah, because I think Steven Jackson is going to have a field day. You can run on that Saints defense. Carolina, dominated the game with their running, and then almost just decided, all right, we're going to win or lose at the run, and they became so predictable that that's how they blew the game. But I think Steven Jackson could run it.
14 points. That's just 2 scores.
Oh, but by Sunday, that'll be 17.
Yeah,
we both know that's going up 3 points. Nobody's going to take the Rams.
Here's another one I screwed up. Denver at Washington.
Tough one because I don't know what we have with either team. Washington might not be quite as bad as you think, and Denver might not be. They look pretty bad the last 2 weeks. I'm going to say Denver by 6.
Yeah, all right. Well, I said 7. You say 6. You got it because it's 4.
Yeah, I was thinking
4. 6-2 team versus 2-6.
But, have we kind of figured out now how to stop Denver? Two teams in a row now just basically clogged their receivers and dared Orton to throw. That was it.
I mean, what does Washington have anymore? Portis might be out. Vegas does not respect the Broncos.
Aaron Schatz said yesterday that I asked him for the most underrated, weird statistical fact of the season from those weird rankings. Not weird rankings, but those complicated rankings that they have. And he said that it's that Jason Campbell is having a secretly good season.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was interesting.
Might be. By the way, did you watch Riggins on Inside the NFL?
I've missed Inside the NFL for 2 weeks. That's part of the reason my picks have fallen apart.
All right.
Was it great?
Watch Riggins. I mean,
it was good?
It's such a great segment when he's talking about. I mean, he goes off on Daniel Snyder. Not just that he's bad. He's like, this is a bad person. And Collins was like, well, hold on now. To say he's not a good manager, player first now. He says, he's like, what do you mean bad person? He's like, I got to tell you, this man has a dark heart. A dark heart.
Wow.
What is he? Is he holding clandestine meetings with the Joker and the Penguin? What's going on?
It's possible.
And then he, of course, doesn't elaborate. So JB is like, you got to loosen up a little, man.
Oh, that's great.
You need to watch. Jacksonville at the Jets.
Huh.
Hard to believe the Jags are 4-4, right? Wouldn't you think they were a little worse?
I'm going to say this is bumped a little higher to Jets 8.5.
All right, I get it. I said 6.5. It's 7.
All right.
So that's close. I think these teams are pretty even.
Yeah, you're probably right. Did Jacksonville win last week? They barely beat Kansas City. They had the game and then they blew it. Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, they're low end. They're going to be looking for that 6th spot. They're not going to get that wild card, but one of these teams this season's done, I think, after this.
Do you think Vegas knocked that down a little because they're not sure about the Sanchez and cold weather?
Yeah.
Because that does feel like an 8.5 to me.
Through. He could score 3 touchdowns any game, you know?
Yeah.
Cincy at Pittsburgh. God, no one's playing defense like the Steelers. I mean, the second and third stringers are in there. Yeah. Screwy altitude. Defense holds them to a first-quarter field goal.
This is a tough one because I don't know if Vegas respects Cincy or not. I personally think the line should be Pittsburgh by 3.5 or 4, but I'm going to say it's a little bit higher. I'm going to go 5.5.
All right, well, you're going to be surprised. That's at 6, and it's 7.
Oh. Wow, that's no respect.
So is Pittsburgh going to get swept?
That's no respect. Pittsburgh did look good last night.
They're just playing so well. I mean, you talk about New Orleans, Indy. There's no defense like Pittsburgh right now. As long as they have that chick with the braids running around.
Pittsburgh has a little attitude. I don't know if they're happy that everybody's counted them out.
Yeah.
They're never mentioned in this whole who's going to win the Super Bowl discussions.
Well, we're making a Pittsburgh money line Pacquiao parlay somewhere.
Ooh. You really go. I don't know what to make of the Bengals. I mean, they might really, for all we know, be really good. They've had some impressive wins.
I think they make the playoffs, but I don't think they're sweeping Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that does seem far-fetched.
Offensively, I don't know how they do it.
The only thing is I said the same thing last week. I picked Baltimore solely because it was far-fetched to me that Cincy would sweep them for the season series, and they ended up killing them.
We'll see. That's a good game. Buffalo, Tennessee.
Not a good game.
What's the opposite of Music City Miracle?
I got to say, I believe in Tennessee a little bit. I thought Vince Young had his mojo back, and from what I saw on Sunday. I'm going to say Tennessee by 6.5.
You get that. I said Tennessee by 5. It's 7. But, yeah, you're right. Vegas is looking at them as just a decent team right now, even though they have 2 wins, right?
We see it every year. We see the team that gets counted out, that puts it together in the second half. It doesn't translate to the playoffs, but they cover week after week, and they're the best value on the board. And it probably is Tennessee this year.
Yep. Detroit at Minnesota.
Oh, no. Wow, could this be our first 20? I got to think about this. No, it won't be that high. I'm going to say 18.
Think long and hard.
18.
I said 17.5. It's 17.
Oh!
So I get that.
Wow, and you know what?
It should be 20, though.
I'm laying that. Yeah, let's just bet that.
Another team that a team like Detroit could get scored on or give up a pick six. In a 3-minute span, they could give up 14 points. So
Stafford looked really, really not on it last week. Just didn't look healthy and didn't have any confidence. Yeah, I don't really trust him in the dome.
On the road, they're junk. At home, they're junk. Not good. All right, so after the early games, I'm up 6-3.
Oh, my God. Wait, every time.
KC at Oakland.
I'm going to say KC.
I'm going to warn you. I picked this one exactly, and I'm proud. I'm really proud of it. I won't touch this game.
I'm going to say KC by 3. How about that?
Ooh, no. Oakland by 1.5.
You picked that exactly?
Yeah. I thought about it, and I'm not even going to swear. Picked it right on. Oakland's got 2 wins. KC 1. It's dumb to like either team in this, but.
Oh. I mean.
You're shocked.
So Vegas is saying KC is slightly better than Oakland.
I think so, despite the fact that they have a 1-few when they're on the road. Yeah.
It's hard for me to believe that Oakland could be favored over anybody.
I know.
Unless it was St. Louis and maybe Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you like this game?
I like this game a lot. First of all, you got Tom Cable and Larry Johnson. I know he's not on the team, but who wants to see these teams play? Let them go head to head, pay-per-view. Cable versus Larry Johnson.
Cable tries to beat up Larry Johnson as Larry Johnson tweets about it.
Let's see it. He could tweet it. He could bring his BlackBerry in there. Whatever he wants to do. See him fight it out. I'm trying to help the public out. These are lousy games on the board.
I think Larry Johnson is going to be remembered someday as the Jackie Robinson of athletes who got fired for tweeting, because it's going to be an epidemic. This is not going to be the first and only time that this happens. Yeah. You're giving people that, coming out of games who are emotional anyway, who don't really have a great self-editing process.
Yeah.
And it's really going to lead to some classic things, I think. Yeah. In Larry Johnson's case, not so classic.
Is it too late to throw Larry Johnson on the end of that Jimmy the Greek 30 for 30 tonight, or is that all edited already?
Maybe he'll tweet about the Jimmy the Greek thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Dallas at did you pick? Yeah, okay. Dallas at Green Bay.
Ooh. Yeah, I think the Cowboys are good. I think they get the Dallas by 3.5.
All right, I said Dallas by 3, and it's 2.5, but it might end up. It might end up where you are there.
Never fails. I just knew this was a loss when I walked into it today, with not being prepared.
Yeah, what is it now? 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's over.
8-3.
Yeah, it's over.
It's gonna be tough to win with 4 games left.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, this is a grave. I don't know what to make of the Packers. They can't get out of their own way. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is awful decisions when he takes sacks.
Right now you're doing the Chris Johnson turning around and running backwards into the end zone while waving the ball at me.
I didn't hear a whistle. Yep. Yeah. So this could be a toss-up, though.
So I guess the thinking here would be that normally Dallas would win, but as you said, everything is gravy at this point, and they're riding the high life and the whole thing, and a must-win game for the Packers.
Well, this will be maybe the 4th home loss. No, I guess 3rd. They lost to the Bengals. They lost to the Vikings. You got to figure they'll win one of these home games. But I said Cowboys are playing.
I said it last week, and I'll say it again. I don't think the Packers are good. I don't think the Bears are good, and I don't think the Packers are good. I don't think the Packers can block. I don't think their defense is very good. I just don't think they're very good.
The Bears and Packers could very well have 5 losses after Week 10. It'll be 4-5, and that'll be that for. It'll look like 3 NFC East teams in the playoffs.
I'll tell you another thing. the Mike McCarthy, Aaron Rodgers combo, at some point they got to start winning games that are relatively close. Like, they just always lose these games. And then at some point you got to think, all right, well, maybe these guys this isn't a good combo.
Yeah. And Aaron Campman probably out with a concussion.
Yeah, that's not good.
Philly at San Diego. That's a fun game.
Great one. I love it. It's so good.
5-3.
It's so good. I can't wait. And there's no doubt that it'll be a coach that loses this game for one of these two teams. I'm going to say San Diego by 3.
All right, you got that exactly. I said 3.5. And I actually do think San Diego's just as good, better, I think, than Philly, and they're home. Shouldn't it be higher?
This is a game that will be decided by a dumb moment that has nothing to do with the talents of either team.
All right.
I think they're similar. They can both throw the ball and play from behind and do some stuff and they shoot themselves in the feet.
It is true. They're very
similar teams.
They are very similar. Vincent Jackson, Deshaun Jackson, both big play capabilities. They both rely on the screens and.
Yeah, I will say though, I would not want to see San Diego as a 6 seed if I'm the 3 seed in January, because they are frightening because. They really can score when they need to, when they absolutely need the touchdown or whatever. They're never out of the game totally. If the Pats had the 3 seed and we had San Diego in round 1, I would be scared. And they also had the Sproles factor.
They never really get blown out in the playoffs, do they? I'm thinking back.
No, they linger. Yeah, they linger around.
Yeah. Seattle at Arizona.
I like Arizona.
Well,
I know they sucked a week ago, but I think for the most part it's a good team with a high ceiling.
But they're a train wreck at home.
Yeah.
They should just play their games in Mexico. I don't see why. They're better on the road. I don't understand teams like this. They can't at home.
Mexico would be interesting. I think the skew's high. I'm going to say Arizona by 9.
Well, you hit that exactly. 2 in a row.
Heating up.
Yep. This will be good fuel for next week.
I will say that I will have no problem throwing Arizona into the 3-team tease that you're not going to allow me to do when I call you on Sunday to try to talk you into it.
I was going to try to talk you into taking Seattle as our underdog pick, but I guess it's going to happen.
Oh, I think they stink.
Yeah.
It's a bad team.
All right, New England at Indy. Sunday night. Good. You'll watch this, right?
Yeah, I might watch this. This is going to be televised, right?
Yeah, they're not blacking this one out.
This is either 2.5 or 3, and I'm going to say 3.
Wow, you'll hit the last 3 in a row. Let me see. Did I add the number 6? All right, I'm still up 8-6.
I did think about going 2.5 on that, but.
So you think that stays at 3, huh?
Yeah, I do. I will say that as a Pats fan, and I think I've proven myself to be relatively unbiased and relatively diplomatic about the fate of my team, whether it's good or bad. I will be very disappointed if we don't win this game. We should win this game. Yeah, we should win this game. We're healthy, playing great. The Colts are banged up. They looked like crap last week. They're having secondary issues. We haven't won there in a while. This, to me, is a must-win and a more important game than the Patriots and the Colts, and a game that I think we need to win if we're going to do anything this season.
The Colts are playing like they're like they've looked ahead to this game for a month now.
Well, that's the thing. Last week, I think both teams played like that. I think it was the Pats just did the whole thing where we threw downfield to Moss and we tried to run Maroney straight up the middle a lot, but we weren't showing a lot of wrinkles. And I think the Colts just looked like they wanted to get out of that with a win and not show anything. But
the Pats did something that puts Belichick in a whole new class of, can I say, douchebaggery?
Sure, you can say that.
All right. I mean, you can run it up 59-0, whatever. You want to take pictures, videotape illegally, but running a play with 4 seconds before the half. I mean, come on. The clock manager now is on the payroll here to leave a second.
Hey, listen.
Really should be ashamed.
Hometown advantage.
You drop back, that's 3 seconds. You throw the ball, that's 2 seconds. It misses or hits the receiver, that's 1 second. It hits the ground, that's 0, and then the ref blows his whistle. How dare they?
I don't know what to tell you. It's the home field advantage, buddy.
Well.
Do you think the Pats win?
I do, because I don't like the 3. I don't like the line. I think it's too low. I like the Patriots there. I think we're going to lose a lot of money Sunday, and we're going to double up on the Patriots. And
see, here's the thing. In my mind, that is a no bet because Manning is like 59-0 against the spread in night games, or maybe 69-0, or 68-1, or like the guy just doesn't lose night games.
Yeah.
So I think I would urge all of America to stay away if you like the Pats.
Oh, we got to bet that. We got to figure it out.
Well, God, I don't know how we lose that game. I just, if they lose that game, then that tells me that we're not doing anything this season.
Yeah.
It's like your team against Philly. You know, it was a great win. You needed it, but it wasn't like a defining, let's see what we have this season game. But for the Pats, I feel like it is.
Yeah. I like it. I like the Patriots. Let's go Baltimore-Cleveland Monday night.
Oh, boy.
It's funny. One of your bosses watched football with us. I don't even know.
Yeah, like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. And he was dreading this game. Well, how many weeks ago was it?
Well, he was rooting for Cleveland in the game because he wanted to make sure that Cleveland wasn't a complete mess for the Monday night game we had 6 weeks later. And unfortunately, complete mess might be an undersell for the Cleveland situation right now.
Can't you rerun like the 2002 spelling bee or cheap seats or something? You really have to put this game on?
We could run 30 for 30 and then put maybe this in a little insert screen in the bottom.
Yeah, something. I don't
it's
know when
terrible.
they signed off on this game. Maybe when Brian Sipe was a quarterback, but that's. I think here's what they should do. They should show, and who would watch this game over what I'm about to propose? Dikembe Mutombo reading your 700-page book aloud. It would probably take 16 days, but I think we check in, like the Jerry Lewis telethon. You just, you go off and something else, and then you check in, you get a good laugh.
I like it. Yeah, this could be the worst rating. Well, actually, with the Baltimore-Cleveland, the one thing I guess we could play up is the whole Baltimore used to be Cleveland thing.
Stole their team. Yeah.
It's the old team coming back. Maybe dredge up that. Maybe that's what they're talking about as the game is 33-6 in the fourth quarter.
Maybe Chris Berman will mention that. Maybe, but I don't know.
When was the last good Monday Night Football game? The Miami Jets game? Well, I guess the Favre game was really good. That was a month ago.
Well, Atlanta, New Orleans. I guess. What you mean? Just come down to the last.
Yeah, I guess Atlanta, New Orleans was entertaining. It had the classic Mike Bell fumbling to somehow allow Atlanta to cover. That was pretty good.
Denver, San Diego was 4 weeks ago.
Last night was really disappointing. I had high hopes for that Pittsburgh-Denver game. I thought it was going to be a classic, and it was one of those games you knew within 5 minutes that Denver wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say...
I mean, you could guess, but I hit this exactly. So Baltimore or Cleveland?
Baltimore by 13.
Well, it's 10.5.
They really
so we're
did.
Not going to do a 3-team teaser. No way. But if we were going to, it would be Baltimore just to beat Cleveland, Arizona just to beat Seattle, and I don't know.
There's another one.
4 over St. Louis, or Minnesota by 7 over Detroit, or something like that.
Listen, it doesn't matter because I'm not doing it.
That's true.
After watching Aaron Rodgers holding onto the ball for 45 seconds per pass attempt against that crappy Tampa Bay defense and getting sacked from behind over and over again, I'm not doing another 3-teamer.
All right.
I can't do it.
I believe
I can't do it.
But we do have to figure out an underdog. We lost.
Yeah.
We lost with the Texans last week. That was lame. Apologize to the listeners.
Listen, that was a great bet, and we had like over 3-1 odds on it, and the Texans should have won, and I still 3 days later cannot figure out how they didn't win.
All right.
That was a win. That was a great pick. I'm very proud of that pick. That
out-of-bounds play was nuts.
Out-of-bounds play was dumb.
We texted each other. I had to look at that 40 more times to figure it out.
The Texans scored 17 points, and it felt like they should have had 34. And they dominated the game from the end of the first quarter on. They completely controlled every aspect of it, and I don't know how they lost. So I feel like that was a moral victory.
Seattle's off the... All right, I won't try to convince you of Seattle, but
no,
I'm thinking Jacksonville plus 250 over the Jets.
That's an interesting one.
It's the same team. It's
Sanchez, cold weather. Anybody else? Who's in that 6 to 8 range?
Cincy over Pittsburgh. You might like that better than I do, but I love Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm tired of not believing in Pittsburgh. I'm just going to pick them every week.
Yeah.
They can go to hell.
Buffalo at Tennessee, that's
Buffalo
still bad
stinks.
giving that out. And then everything else is Chicago, San Fran's too small. Atlanta, Carolina spread's too small. I don't think Tampa's beating Miami. St. Louis is not beating New Orleans.
No.
If you want to go Washington over Denver.
What's that line?
That's 4, so it's probably
that's not a good one.
160 or 170.
I mean, Jacksonville, I'm so lukewarm on that one. It's so unexciting. They're not good. I mean, but that line is too high.
I don't know. It's
maybe it's a stay away. Or maybe we take the Pats. Maybe we try to defy the Peyton Manning.
All right. You just said you wouldn't advise anyone betting the Pats.
Oh, wait a second. What was the Cowboy-Packer line?
That's like 2.5. It's nothing.
No, that's not fun either. You don't think one of these 10 or 13 or 11-point favorites actually pulls off? Oh, who's Arizona playing? Is that Carolina?
Seattle.
Who is Carolina playing?
That's a small line. Atlanta.
Small, like what is it?
It's 2. It's like Atlanta by 2.
That stinks. I say we stay away. It's a stay away. Can't force the underdog.
I didn't know that was an option. Okay.
Yeah, we can't tell people to bet a pick just because we can't come up with one.
Wow. All right. So people might have just listened to this for 40 minutes for no reason.
Joe Mead, you okay with that?
I don't know. I'm getting upset about the Vikings-Lions line still.
That it's not high. That it's not higher.
I want the Lions.
Jerk. We should just kill this guy already. What do you mean? What are you making fun of us? So we picked the lines. What are we supposed to do? You're upset. You're tending to be upset.
Joe, what about the Bills?
The Bills.
Yeah, Joe, try to
get the season over yet.
Get the Bills out as a pick.
Joe's surly today. Hey, we made him get up a little earlier than usual. All right. Well, let's stay away this week. I can't. You can't talk me into Jacksonville. They stink. Anything to promote?
But yeah, I have something to promote. Bill Simmons on Jimmy Kimmel Live tonight. If you listen Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you're on before or after Chris O'Donnell, but you're promoting that book.
I'm going to say Chris O'Donnell should be ahead of me since he's on a show that's been being currently seen by about 13 million people.
You think so?
Yeah, I think I have no problem taking a back seat. Although if he's on
have the Hollywood Boulevard Chewbacca talking about Thanksgiving, I think that might go before. No, that's going after you. That's going to go after you.
If I'm on the couch,
excited for your parent. Do you have any surprises tonight?
Well, if Chris O'Donnell stays on the couch, which I don't think Jimmy does that often, where the previous guest stays out there.
He just asked them if they want to stay. They stay. Yeah.
Oh, well then, if he's out there, I'm going to have to do the Al Pacino. I'm just going to have to.
Oh, good.
The flamethrower. I mean, when am I ever going to have a chance to do that again? The best part will be that the audience of tourists will have no idea what the joke is and will be greeted by dead silence.
Right. I love it.
Because there's probably
Why don't you bring Joe Mead out to hold your book in front of his chest, and we could shoot pellet guns at him. See how far it goes.
They ate the pellet gun. The book will stop the pellet guns.
Really?
Yeah, that's what'll happen.
This is good stuff. It's his birthday. It's your big book coming out. This is nice. I like it.
When his birthday's Friday, right?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Birthday week.
All right, Cousin Sal.
Watch tonight, Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Congratulations on another successful win. We are now tied at 5-5, and I could just tell you from the signings the last 2 weeks, there's a lot of interest in who's going to get beaten up by this sub and what's going to be in the sub and all that stuff. Like, I really think we could pay-per-view this.
I'm very excited. I may have to cheat towards the end to win. I never thought I'd say that, but
if Pacquiao Cotto can get $69.95 or whatever the price is, I feel like we can get $3.95.
I agree. Let's push it.
All right, talk to you next week.
Target the sound off. Whoa!
Thank you for downloading the B.S. Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Podcenter at ESPNRadio.com.
Peace out.
You laughed, you cried, you turned up the sound repeatedly, and now it's all over. Thus concludes another installment of the B.S. Report. And with all this talk about sports, Bill Simmons neglected to mention this important just breaking news. The $5 footlong anthem rolls on with Subway Everyday Value. So many of your Subway favorites are $5 footlongs, like the Taste-tacular Spicy Italian $5 footlong and the Pile Ridiculously High BLT $5 footlong, both made to your order on the freshly baked bread of your choice.